Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. Arsenal 2, Wolves 0. Lee, the sun is shining. Arsenal got 3 points. First of all, no place to start other than the tribute to Super Kevin Campbell. That was incredible.
That was incredible. Like, I'm very, very emotional. Got the programmes for the family and all that, like, you know, because obviously he's in there. But yeah, I thought they'd done really well. And singing his name at the end as well, like, you know, and you know, like, I'm glad it was a minute's applause as well. There was a rumour it was going to be a minute's silence, but I'm glad it was because everybody like went for it and they were singing his name. So yeah, a sad day, but you know, a good day in some ways as well. Like, you know, so rest in peace, Super Kev.
100%, man. Well said. Listen, it was a result which I kind of think we both expected. You expected a few more goals.
Yeah.
I did go for 3-0. You went for 4-0. Comfortable in the end, but I will say, David Raya, what a save.
He made two very good saves in the game. The first one was really, really good. I felt today, if I'll be really honest, was a little bit sloppy. I felt like the last pass, the little things weren't quite there. But maybe that's because it's the first game of the season. You probably expect a little bit more. But at the end of it, listen, it's all about 3 points. That's all you can ask for. That's what you need to get. And in the end, it was comfortable. But I don't think anybody played really well, but everybody contributed in some sort of ways. As you say, Raya had to make that save. I thought defensively we looked good. And yeah, and for me, look, Kai Havertz, I always say, like, it's good when your main striker, if that's going to be the main striker or your forward Saka, they get the goals. So it's very, very important that they scored. It wasn't a statement win that we all wanted, but at the end of the day, look, it's still 3 points and that's all that matters.
Player of the match for you?
That's a difficult one for me. I'm struggling. I think that's the quietest I've seen Declan Rice play.
Yeah.
I'm very, very quiet with him. I didn't think really Saka was great until he scored. Odegaard done okay in there, like, you know. So I'd probably go like Odegaard, but maybe even like Havertz because he got the goal and that was a defining moment. So probably Havertz, but you know, Raya as well contributed. So
last question quickly. Obviously, we go to Villa Park next. It's going to be a very different game away at that place. Any changes for you?
Oh, that's a good question. Listen, no, but the only change that I want is just playing a little bit better. You know, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more on the counter-attack, like. But you can see that. When's Declan Rice ever had a cramp? I've never seen that, like, you know. So they're quite ready. Some of the boys are not quite ready, but like I expect probably like the same sort of team. But I expect hopefully a much better performance because we're going to have to play a lot better to win up there.
Big up, man. Listen, you go off, mate. We'll switch in a bit. No worries, brother. In a bit, mate. Daniel, let's bring you in, my friend. Thoughts on the game today? 2-0. Good victory for Arsenal. Sunshine and everyone's happy.
I thought it was good. For the opening game of the season, I think when you have players, and a lot of our players that have played in international tournaments and gone deep into them, I think we have to be a little bit mindful of the fact that these players haven't had an awful lot of rest, and a lot of them came back early. A lot of the big hitters, you know, like your Salibas, your Rices, your Sakas, you know, they opted to come back early. I wasn't really expecting them to see them today, but it was a good performance. I thought for me, Havertz was man of the match. I'd like him to stay on his feet a little bit more in the box. He tends to go down too much for me. I'd like to see him try and take a few more shots, but I think we can be pleased, Dan. I think we can be happy with that.
Anything you change going into the Villa game? I know there's a lot of reports and rumours that Calafiori and Timber are getting back to fitness. Would you like to see one of them come in at left back ahead of Zinchenko, or do you think he deserves to keep his space?
I think I would drop Zinchenko for the next game, considering he had a torrid time against Villa in April. I think I don't think it'd be wise putting him in there. I'd like to see Calafiori or Timber. I thought Timber done well when he come on, actually.
Yeah.
He looked a threat going forward as well, Timber. So that's probably the only change I would make, is maybe bring Timber or Calafiori in, and you never know, Dan, we might have some more signings by that game. So
well, listen, that was my next question. The last one for you was, what do we still need for you, brother, in the next couple of weeks?
We need a forward player. And yeah, maybe somebody else in that midfield, but definitely a forward player. We've got to prioritise that. We need somebody who can score 25 to 30 goals. I still feel like that in certain games we're going to need that edge, and at the moment we don't quite have that edge. So yeah, for me, you know, go and get the lad from Sporting Lisbon. Was it Victor Gyökeres? So go and get him. You know, looks like a good striker. But yeah, I don't know. I just worry about us in those crunch games when it comes down to the odd goal here and there. Do we have enough? And I feel we need more going forward a little bit.
Absolutely. Listen, big up for coming on, man. Make sure you have a safe journey back. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll be back next time, and we'll see you then, Dan.
Yeah, cheers, Dan. Thanks, mate.
Nice
Cheers.
one, buddy. Nice one. Lewis, we're good, man. Thank you, bro. Little Dan, let's get a Wolves perspective very quickly before we do come to the guys. Thoughts today, obviously, David Raya, big moment. Potentially could have brought you back into the game.
Yeah, most definitely. That first half save from Jürgen Strand Larsen. Obviously, Strand Larsen's recently been signed by Wolves. He needs that first goal. He's had such a good pre-season. He still needs that first goal. That's the only thing that's sort of, you know, when you sign a striker, he needs that first goal. It doesn't matter whether it's against flipping Tottenham, whoever it's against, he needs that first goal. That's the only thing that's missing from his game right now. And David Raya made 2 great saves in the game. For Arsenal, probably had another two gears. They could have went up in that game today. But that's the difference between Wolves and Arsenal. Arsenal are challenging for a title. Wolves are probably mid-table. Hopefully pushing towards that last European place, but I'm happy with the way I performed. I'm disappointed with the result, but our season will not be defined by today's result.
Listen, I spoke to Tom last night on Wolves Fancast, obviously your channel, and I wanted to ask you as well. A lot of people are tipping Wolves to struggle this season and flirt with relegation. Not myself. I think Gary O'Neill's proved he can get the best out of the players. What are you saying about that, man?
Idiots. I feel like there's so many more poor sides left in the Premier League. It's not going to be easy because every single Premier League game is a tough fixture. Like today, it could have been a banana skin for you guys. You come away with a 2-0 win, you got the 3 points. It wasn't the statement win like Judges said earlier, but you got the 3 points. It's all about consistency for a 38-game season, and I feel we've got enough quality in our forward areas to get us over the line, and hopefully we've got two weeks left of the transfer window. We've just sold Max Kilman, we've just sold Pedro Neto. It's on the club now to utilise that money to help Gary O'Neill on the squad, and who knows what can happen. It's like I said, 37 games left now. It's a lottery. Who knows? I hope you guys do well. I'll tell you guys now on your YouTube channel, I would not be on this YouTube channel now if it wasn't for this guy, Dan Potts. He's the soundest Arsenal fan I've ever met in my life. I'm still hurt by Christopher Wray in 1998.
Oh, mate.
Still devastated. That was my 11th birthday that day at Villa Park. I'm still devastated, but I would not be on an Arsenal channel after a 2-0 defeat at the Emirates if it wasn't for Dan Potts. So, like, comment, subscribe.
Big up, man. Listen, so journey back, and I'll see you at Wolves away, man.
I love you, man.
Take care. Love you, man. In a bit, brother. Take care, man. Luce, how are we, mate? You
So
all right?
happy to be back. Oh
Yeah,
my god, that
I
break
bet.
went on for so long, didn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like it was stretched, but happy to be back, man.
Listen, happy with a win. The sun is shining.
100%.
Who shone for you today? Because a lot of people are saying that we had many players that were man of the match performances. Who was out there that impressed you?
To be honest, I'm going to get boring saying this because I love watching him play, but for me, it's just Ødegaard. Like, obviously, technically, he's very gifted on the ball, but off the ball, the way he controls the press and guys, the direction of the game, like when we don't have the ball, is so monumental to me. So I love watching him. He's like a very composed captain as opposed to like your Tony Adams or your Vieira type. So it's just a joy to have him.
Yeah, he leads by example. He doesn't bark
Exactly.
orders as a captain, which I think is beautiful. And his work rate is just phenomenal, man. He just runs around for 90 minutes. What did you make of Martinelli today? Because there's a lot of people saying Trossard should have started, Martinelli should have started. Flip of a coin, really, for a lot of fans. But I didn't think he got into the game much today, Luce.
I liked seeing the switch at the end. I'd want to see more of that ideally, but I think starting Martinelli is probably the move just because of the extra pace that he adds. And then once you wear out that defender on the other side, you can then bring on Trossard, who kind of does the business and is a target man. So it's nice to see. I prefer Martinelli starting and Trossard coming on as a sub, but they're both exceptional players, man. You
Yeah.
can't question them. They're both on the very top. We're very spoiled to have them, I think.
100%. Listen, lastly, the window is still open.
Yeah.
What do we need?
Honestly, I'm going to say a striker. However, I think now is the time to get behind the players that we do have. If we get any additional signings, that's a bonus. But right now, the league started. We've got to focus on the talent that we have and progress in them, and anything else is a bonus. So I'm very happy.
100%. Legend, Luce. Let me bring you in,
Thank
Russ.
you.
Thank you, darling. Russ, talk to me, man. What's happening today? I don't know. There's a lot of people saying that no one really shone. It was a performance that was a bit sloppy in parts. We've heard Judges and Lucy and some of the other guys on talking about how potentially it could have been more. But, I mean, we won the game. It's 2-0. We kept a clean sheet, Russ.
It was a workmanlike performance. It was one of them games where we've just got the result we wanted, which was a win and 3 points. That was it, really. It was not. It wasn't exciting. Wasn't dynamic. It was just we just done what we needed to do.
I mean, listen, I spoke to Lucy there about Martinelli. I felt like he struggled to get into the game. We saw him swap round to the right-hand side when Saka come off, which I thought was a good thing, by the way, bringing off Bukayo Saka. But I don't know about him. He's got a big season ahead of him, Martinelli. I'm a massive fan, but he just can't get into the game today.
Same as I'm a massive fan, but he's not quite doing it, is he? He's a little bit short. I think we all know the player's in there, but he's just a little bit short somewhere. I can't put my finger on it, but he's just not quite doing the bits and pieces that he used to do. He's good with his right foot, but when he's playing on the left, he seems to be a little bit lacklustre. It's not quite happening for me.
Well, listen, we've got 2 weeks left of the window, roughly. What do we still need, Russ?
We still need what we've always needed. We need a cover for Martin Odegaard. We need cover for Bukayo. We need a centre forward, which is what we've needed for the last 5 or 6 years. We've always needed it ever since Giroud went. We just need a centre forward who can bang goals in, take chances when we're on top in games, and that just ain't there at the moment.
Well, listen, I mean, if this doesn't happen, like, where is the blame lying for you? Is it with the ownership, the board, Edu? Is it Mikel Arteta for saying potentially we don't need what you think we need? Where does the problem lie for you, mate?
The blame lies, I think, mainly in the way everyone coaches football players now. Everyone seems to be mad on defensive midfielders, on wingers. They don't seem to be mad on coaching strikers. And there's a dearth of strikers around the whole world of football. There ain't no one around who bangs goals in, and that's a massive problem for football. There's loads of footballers who can defend. There's loads of defensive midfielders who can pass the ball easy and do their bits. There's loads of wingers who can score the odd goal. There's loads of number 10s. There's no real number 9s, and that's a big problem for football.
Well, let me chuck some names at you. Victor Osimhen,
Maybe,
Ivan Toney,
maybe,
and Victor Gyökeres.
maybe.
Right, okay. So there's not really one out there that you think absolutely
No,
go and get him.
because of the way that football's coached. I think there's a massive problem with the way football's coached. And I don't think there is anyone out there who you say, right, he's going to come and he's going to make the big difference for us, because that just ain't happening at the moment. I just think there's Haaland, Mbappe, Vinicius Junior maybe. There's a dearth of talent that can actually bang the ball in the back of the net.
Listen, I mean, just lastly before I bring Albert in, can we do it this year, Russ? We've had 2 times, have we not been able to? 3rd time lucky for you?
If we don't, then there has to be changes, I'm afraid. We've had phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has to be a change this year. We can't carry on doing what we're doing without winning something, because how can I put it? We have to win, because we're a big football club. And if we don't, then there has to be a change to make us win. And if that's the manager or something upstairs to make the recruitment better, then that has to be done. What that is, I'm not in charge of the football club, so I can't say.
Yeah.
But you know me, I'll say it how it is. I just think there's a massive change needs with the recruitment at the top level, and there are players like Tony, Gyökeres, Osimhen about, but are they the ones that will get us over the line? That's up to the people at the top here, whether they'll spend the money or not.
Listen, I always speak very, very honestly and say how it is, Russ, and
Listen,
I think you're speaking
Arsenal
sense.
Football Club to win at all costs. I want us to win and be the champions of this country, and to win the one prize we've never won, which is the Champions League. And without a top striker who's going to bang balls in the back of the net, we're never going to achieve that.
Listen, I think you're absolutely right, man, and personally, I hope we can do it. I need to see more in the window, personally. Albert, let me bring you in, man. Let's switch places. Sun is shining. I keep saying that because I think that everyone can at least have a beautiful weekend, but the result has kind of helped us have that exactly. What were your thoughts on that today, brother?
I thought the first 50 minutes were good. We were good. We opened them up on both wings. We created a lot of opportunities. I wouldn't say clear-cut chances, but we got into the final third. I was surprised Wolves let us have that amount of possession in the first half, to be honest with you. But they're not exactly a sit back and sort of defensive team anyway under Gary Neal. But I think the key thing is we get in the goal in the first. Oh, here we go.
Be or a Wasp
We're
joining
getting
in.
attacked live. Yeah, so the key thing was, when you've got that kind of possession, you've got to make it count. And when you get Saka in that position, he's going to deliver.
Yeah.
Great ball in. Kai Havertz couldn't miss. So key thing for him, I'm glad he scored, but I think with Havertz, and I've said this to you before, in the Euros, he should have been top goal scorer. He had X amount of chances.
Yeah.
And he will score goals, but I'm not sure he's going to score the required amount of goals. As mentioned, clutch moments for us to win very, very important games. If you know what I mean, away at the Etihad, for example.
Well,
but, yeah, I was pleased with the first 50 minutes, but when you're only going 1-0, it's a dangerous scoreline in football, and you saw, whether it's a mixture of pre-season, a bit of what we've seen with Arsenal in the last couple of years, we let them get a foothold back into the game, and it was nervy. And the thing is, I know people talk about pre-season, but for example, with Zinchenko and Thomas Partey, they're always guilty of giving the ball away. Not under pressure. And they've done that countless times. Saliba a couple of times in the first half and in the second half. But I'll give a little bit of latitude. First game of the season, clean sheet, defensively looked strong. We didn't give them a lot of chances, if you're honest. If we looked at over stats or watched the game back over 30 minutes or whatever it is, we kept them pretty quiet. Saka, again, goal and assist. He's already started the season already. Great goal. You know what I liked about his goal as well? He went the opposite side of the goalkeeper. They're so used to him going to the goalkeeper's right, cut it back in, and for me the game was done after that. But just better game management, and I thought the sub was made at the right time as well to take off Zinchenko to bring on Timber.
Yeah, I thought Timber was quality when he came on, I must say. Before I come to Kenny, one name that we can sign in the next 2 weeks that would make you excited?
You're asking me a question you already know the answer to, because you know what I want. Pipe dream, Victor Gyökeres, I said from December last year. I'm not sure if clubs are prepared to pay that release clause, especially Arsenal after putting 100 dough on Declan Rice last season. But he's a guy I'd want. I know Arsenal's the interest is in there, but I'm not sure with 2 weeks to go whether they'll pull the trigger and get him.
Interesting, man. Kelly, let me bring you in, brother. Big up, Albert. Listen, man, back at the Emirates, the season has started. How confident are you that we can get across the line this year, Ken?
Well, we have to. You know, people, I've said it before when we spoke on your show, that it's not just about winning the league, it's about winning a trophy. We should attack every trophy with a lot of vigour. We've got the players now, we've got the experience. I don't want to hear, fans saying, oh yeah, we haven't got the squad to it, we haven't got the numbers, the games, we don't want players to get injured. Sorry, we haven't won anything for 5 years. Big teams win something. Obviously the league's a priority because of our losses in the last couple of seasons, but you have to win a trophy. And it's not a case of where I think Arsenal will do it or not. We have to. I have to win something, preferably the league. We have to now. Third year running, got the experience. Doesn't matter whether we get that striker or not, or whether we get that player in the midfield. There's still good enough players now who've got the experience of getting in those positions, especially in those, what I call the championship rounds. All right, they haven't delivered in those championship rounds, but they know what it takes to be part of a league title running, but also they need to extend that now to win some cups now. Fans need a day out. They need a day out in Wembley. I don't want to hear fans saying, oh, it's only the League Cup and the FA Cup, and then the same fans turn up to Wembley scrambling for tickets. Doesn't make sense, does it?
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, Ken, everything you're saying there I agree with. You've always been one who's held the club at a good standard and demanded more, and I think silverware is absolutely the target and the bare minimum of what it should be. This transfer window, what do we need to do to try and secure the best chance of us winning a trophy?
Well, first and foremost, we need to get rid of. We need to balance the books. We need to, players who are assets, and I say that in inverted commas. You need to get rid of them, because if you don't get rid of them, then you can't, get the players you need now. We've only got probably about 10 or 11 days. Eddie's, still in a bit of a limbo. So's Reece Nelson. But the quicker you get them out, then maybe you can get a player in. The only player that I've heard of is Marino. He wants Marino to, cover that number 8 position. So maybe that's a player you're going to get. I've heard nothing about a striker. Albert's mentioned Victor Gyökeres. There's a player called Ivan Toney who again,
cheaper as well.
Well, he's cheaper, but the question is, why is not anyone going in for him? What do they know that we don't know?
Yeah.
You've got a player who scored, a goal every other game for his club. He's done it in the Premiership. let's face it, all right, he came back from his ban, bit rusty, didn't do anything, but I saw enough in the Euros to say, well, you know what, give this guy a run at a bigger club, I think he'll do something. So only Arsenal will know. Maybe they've done a back round, I don't know, but I think if we are going to get one in, it's more likely to be Marino than any, not a striker.
Listen, well, there you go, people. Listen, the season has started. It's Arsenal 2, Wolves 0. The transfer window is still open. What are Arsenal going to do in the next 2 weeks? Let's hope we can get a couple more players in. Big up to everyone. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.